Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here because today we're taking a deep dive into what I think is one of the most powerful, timeless stories ever told about mastering human concentration. Look, we live in an era where our attention is constantly being pulled in a million different directions, right? Usually by that little glowing rectangle sitting in your pocket. But what if the secret to cutting through all of that noise was actually figured out thousands of years ago? Well, let's dive right in and uncover a legendary mindset that can completely transform how you approach your daily goals. So, think about this. Can one single thought actually decide your success? It sounds almost too simple, doesn't it? But today, we're going to explore an ancient, really high-stakes story of a young prince named Arjuna. He proved that absolute singular focus isn't just some neat productivity trick, it's the literal deciding factor between failure and greatness. This story is definitely going to challenge how you think about your own attention span. All right, let's jump into Section 1, Concentration Test, a legendary challenge. Our story kicks off with a brilliant teacher named Guru Dronacharya. One day, he decides he needs to test his royal students, but he doesn't want to just test their physical strength, he wants to test the true source of their power, which is their concentration. So he places this small wooden bird way up high on the branch of a tall tree and calls all the young princes together. He gives them one incredibly clear rule. Whoever shoots the eye of the bird will be the greatest archer. Now, the prize wasn't just hitting a target, right? It was earning the ultimate title of greatness. The stakes here were incredibly high. Now, as each prince confidently steps up to the shooting line, bow in hand, Guru Dronacharya doesn't just tell them to fire. Actually, he stops them, and he asks them one crucial, penetrating question. What do you see? This repeated question is really the heartbeat of our explainer today. Because you see, it wasn't a test of their eyesight. It was a profound test of their mind. Let's see exactly how they answered. Moving on to Section 2, only the target, seeing the goal. Okay, so the first prince, Yudhishthira, steps up. Dronacharya asks, what do you see? Yudhishthira replies, I see the bird, the tree, the branches, the sky, and my brothers. Dronacharya immediately tells him to step aside. Next, Bhima tries. He fares no better, proudly declaring he sees the bird and the tree. Again, step aside. Their vision was just completely cluttered. But then Arjuna steps forward. He fixes his gaze. His breathing gets completely steady. Dronacharya asks him, what do you see? And Arjuna gives a wildly different answer. Dronacharya tests him further, to be sure. He asks Arjuna, can you see the tree? Arjuna replies, no, Guru. Can you see your brothers? No. Can you see me? Arjuna replies again, no. When he's finally asked what he does see, Arjuna says, only the eye of the bird. Just think about the immense power of that moment for a second. Arjuna's absolute laser focus literally stripped away his entire peripheral reality. As far as he was concerned, nothing else in the universe existed except that target. Hearing this, Dronacharya smiles and simply says, shoot. And wow, the arrow flies perfectly straight, striking the wooden bird's eye with absolute precision. The crowd just erupts in applause, but Dronacharya silences them to deliver the ultimate lesson here. He tells them, Arjuna succeeded not because he was born extraordinary, but because he actively trained his mind to see only his goal. Which brings us to Section 3, Find Your Bird's Eye, Modern Targets. This beautifully illustrates how timeless this concept really is. You know, you might not be aiming a literal bow and arrow today, but you absolutely have your own targets. For some of you watching, your bird's eye might be scoring a 95% on your board exams. For others, it's becoming a doctor, an engineer, an IAS officer, an entrepreneur, maybe an artist or an athlete, or maybe it's just mastering a complex new skill or building a stable, successful future for yourself. Take a second right now to mentally define what your specific modern-day wooden bird is, because the reality is you have to know your target before you can ever hit it. Let's look at Section 4, Modern Distractions, Overcoming the Noise. In the story, the other princes failed because they were distracted by the tree, the leaves, the sky, the people around them. Today, well, our trees and branches look a little bit different. So many of us lose our focus because we are endlessly staring at everything except our goal. We're getting pulled into the doom scroll on social media, or we're losing hours to mobile games. We get completely paralyzed by comparing ourselves to others, crushed by the fear of failure, or distracted by the negative opinions of people who honestly aren't even in the arena with us. Every single time you give your attention to one of these things, you are losing sight of that bird's eye. Arjuna's story hands us this timeless psychological formula. Consistent concentration plus vivid visualization equals action. It's basically a magnetic pull. If you visualize your distractions, you're naturally going to move toward your distractions. But if you visualize your ultimate goal, your daily actions will naturally, almost automatically, align with achieving that goal. Now, dreaming about your goal is super important, but visualization alone isn't going to cut it. Sitting in your room just wishing for it isn't a magic trick. Arjuna combined his razor-sharp focus with years of rigorous discipline practice. The mind sets the target, sure, but the daily discipline of the body and your work ethic is what finally drives that arrow home. You absolutely need both to succeed. Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, Formula for Success, an actionable blueprint. Here is the exact playbook pulled directly from the source material. Step 1, see your goal clearly. You've got to define that bird's eye. Step 2, imagine yourself achieving it. Build up that vivid visualization in your head. Step 3, remove distractions. Seriously, cut out the social media noise and the fear of what other people think. Step 4, practice every single day. Put in the disciplined work. And step 5, never lose focus. Keep that intense gaze locked in until the arrow hits. If you follow this exact sequence, you're operating exactly like a master archer. The entire philosophy of our explainer today is wrapped up so beautifully in this one powerful thought. Your future is created twice, first in your mind, then through your actions. Your life right now, it's really just a reflection of what you've been focusing on. If you want a different reality, a more successful reality, you have to build it internally first. You have to tune out the entire forest, lock your eyes on your singular goal, and then back up that mental vision with relentless daily action. So I want to leave you with a very direct challenge today. I want you to truly ask yourself, what is your bird's eye? And maybe more importantly, what specific distraction are you going to ruthlessly eliminate from your life today so you can finally hit it? That target is up there waiting for you. It's time to take your shot. Keep learning, keep focusing, and I will see you in the next explainer.